Real-Time 1960s presents Evening Report, a complete roundup of today's news with Joe Rubenstein.
Good evening. In Vietnam, a major battle in the Ia Drang Valley. In Chile, left-wing students spit on Robert Kennedy. In Florida, Walt Disney announces a new project. Joan Baez promotes peace. Hugh Hefner expands his empire. And Muhammad Ali gets set for Floyd Patterson. Those are the headlines. The details after this message.
Had any really good days lately? Like when the sun shines brighter, and people seem friendlier, and work goes faster? Days like that? Well, the really good days start out good with new Carnation Instant Breakfast. They start out good because new Carnation Instant Breakfast makes milk a balanced meal. With as much protein as 2 fresh eggs, as much mineral nourishment as 2 strips of crisp bacon, more energy than 2 slices of buttered toast, plus vitamin C, the orange juice vitamin. Instant breakfast tastes good too, really good. So remember, the really good days start out good with new Carnation Instant Breakfast. Really good.
In the Ia Drang Valley today, American forces suffered heavy casualties after a communist ambush. The attack on the 1st Air Cavalry Division occurred near the base of Hill 732, about 230 miles north of Saigon, where U.S. troops have been battling about 1,500 North Vietnamese since Sunday. Following today's ambush, a relief force found dozens of bodies, American and communist, scattered throughout the area. U.S. helicopters flew the wounded to Pleiku. Said one survivor, Staff Sergeant Miguel Sesa of Augusta, Georgia, quote, "We were walking along at the center of the battalion, and we started getting fired on all of a sudden. It was coming from everywhere, the ground, the trees. Suddenly, everyone around me was getting hit and dying. I could hear screams all around me. We fought and fought for what seemed hours, but it was no good. I told what was left of my men, there weren't many, to pull back if they could. I told them they had a 50-50 chance of getting out. We started crawling away under terribly intense fire. We crawled 250 yards, then started running. I never ran so fast before. We had to leave most of the wounded behind. There was nothing else to do. The ones we left were screaming in pain and fear. Someone shouted, 'Don't leave me.' A lieutenant called out, 'Please shoot me. I don't want them to get me.'" Unquote. Army Colonel Hal Moore, who's been in the thick of the fighting, spoke today of his extremely high regard for the American soldier.
"He is the best fighting man that I have ever seen, and I would like for you, if you convey anything out of this area where we've been for the last 3 days and nights, please convey to the American people what a tremendous fighting man we have here. He's courageous, he's aggressive, and he's kind. And he'll go where you tell him to go. And he's got self-discipline. He's just an outstanding man. And having commanded this battalion for 18 months, you must excuse my emotion here, but when I see some of these men go out, where they have, I can't tell you how highly I feel. They're tremendous."
In related news, another major buildup of American forces in South Vietnam is expected over the next 6 months, possibly reaching 250,000 men. Administration officials said the expansion would reflect a shift toward U.S. combat units taking over operations, which the South Vietnamese Army cannot sustain. At Concepcion University in Chile last night, New York Senator Robert Kennedy, currently on a South American tour, was spat upon and pelted with eggs, rocks, and coins. About 100 pro-communist students shouted "Assassin" and "Yankee go home" as the senator stood on stage. Inviting the demonstrators to come forward, Kennedy was told instead to approach them. As he did, several students tried to kick him, others spat, and a U.S. flag was set on fire. Although Kennedy was not struck by any objects, spittle struck his forehead and clothing. In his brief remarks, the senator said the U.S. sympathized with Chile's reforms and reminded students that Americans were human beings capable of error, but that, quote, "errors would not be corrected by throwing eggs," unquote. Outside, anti-communist students apologized to Kennedy's wife Ethel, telling her, quote, "Senora, please forgive us for this shameful situation," unquote. On Monday, in Santiago, Senator Kennedy told reporters that he would not seek the presidential nomination in 1968 because he supported President Johnson for re-election. He said he would seek re-election to the Senate in 1970. Asked if he would run for president after 1970, Kennedy replied, quote, "That's a long ways off. I'll announce it should the candidacy develop," unquote. He added that President Johnson was doing, quote, "a fine job, an outstanding job," unquote. In Orlando, Florida Monday, Walt Disney confirmed the purchase of 27,000 acres in Orange and Seminole counties for a massive new theme park, his long-rumored Disneyland East. The site lies about 12 miles southeast of Orlando and 35 miles from Cape Kennedy. At a press conference, where he was seated next to his brother Roy and Florida Governor Hayden Burns, Disney said $70 million would be invested to create what he called the city of yesterday and the city of tomorrow.
We hope that what we develop here will be a real credit to the state, a credit to the Disney organization. And I might say that when we were planning Disneyland, we hoped that we could build something that would command the respect of the community. And after 10 years, I feel that we've accomplished that. Not only the community, but the country as a whole. And that is actually what we hope to do here, is to really develop something that, well, just more than an entertainment enterprise. It's something that contributes in many other ways. Well, educationally, and one thing is that, to me, the important thing is the family. And if you can keep that family together with things, and that's been the backbone of our whole business, catering to the families.
Disney said construction would take about 3 years. Governor Burns pledged full state cooperation, possibly including a special legislative session.
The 15 million tourists that we have now contribute some $3 billion a year to the economy of this state, and the tourists this year, or last year, contributed 17% of the total taxes collected in the state. Now, as to how much this new attraction will multiply the number of tourists or the time that they spend in the state, and your guess on that's about as good as mine. But I predict that with the combination of the tourist center at Cape Kennedy and with this Disney attraction, that we'll experience at least a 50% and possibly 100% increase in tourism in the state of Florida.
In San Francisco this week, a very different sort of entertainment project was underway as 39-year-old Hugh Hefner, founder of Playboy magazine, announced the opening of the city's new Playboy Club in a 5-story building on Montgomery Street. The new location will present Hefner with some business competition, as San Francisco is the first and only reliably documented American city to offer legal, fully topless dancing. Hefner, to this point at least, has been adamant that his establishments focus on what he calls sophisticated fantasy, not overt nudity. Today, seated at a press conference and smoking his trademark pipe, Hefner was asked to respond to criticism of the bunny-costumed waitresses at his clubs.
There's been a lot of criticism, Mr. Hefner, about the bunny and the fact that you present her in as enticing a manner as possible. Not as enticing as some of your clubs here, however. And that the policy of the Playboy bunny is a strictly look but don't touch kind of arrangement.
Yeah, well, I think that criticism is a very superficial one. That stems from the fact that there isn't anything else to criticize about it. People are disturbed, really, by the fact that Playboy represents a rather open, honest, and we feel healthy proclaiming of the positive side of sex.
It's healthy to look but not touch.
No, it's not healthy to look but not touch, but it's healthy to look and not touch in a nightclub. That's the real point. In other words, the reason that we have the rules in terms of the bunnies is because we don't believe in that sense, mixing business with pleasure. We're not trying to run a bordello. We're running a club that any guy can feel very good about coming into, and in which we're able, quite successfully, to draw a level of girls. The reason that the bunnies are world famous is because these are girls that, by and large, would never have previously ever thought of working in a club. And we get this level of girl, kids out of college, secretaries, airline stewardesses, because of the way the club is operated. course, have their own, private lives. That's their own business.
The nation's 14th Playboy Club will open Saturday night for key-carrying members and their guests. Comedian Mort Saul will provide entertainment in the upstairs penthouse, and Kelly Green and her jazz trio will perform in the downstairs living room. I'll have more news for you after this message.
You asked for it, an instant tea so delicious you like to linger over it. And now it's here. All new Lipton Instant Tea. Blended an all-new way with finest orange pico tea. Better when you make it, dissolves instantly in cold water. Better when you drink it, real fresh brewed flavor. The one instant tea so delicious, you like to linger over it. Get all new Lipton Instant Tea. And here's more news from Lipton. Convenient new lemon-flavored instant tea. Now, no lemons to slice. Regular, lemon-flavored. Tastes so good, you know it's Lipton. Instantly.
Here again, Joe Rubenstein.
In San Diego Saturday night, Joan Baez performed for a capacity house at the Civic Theater. However, as the 24-year-old folk singer was captivating her audience, literature was being distributed outside the hall by protesters accusing her of communist sympathies. The following day, a reporter, after noting that Ms. Baez had recently urged an audience not to cooperate in the military draft, asked her if such advice bordered on sedition.
Laws are made by human beings, and if they're no good, then human beings have to remake them, no matter what, you call it. I don't think the draft should be cooperated with. And I think I have as much a right to judge what I think is terrible as any other person who ever made laws. If laws are no good anymore, then you've got to change them. We're the only people who can change them. If I really think they're lousy international laws or national laws, then I've got to do my best to make them better.
She was asked if she disagreed with the view that U.S. policy in Vietnam was designed to halt the spread of communism throughout the world, including to this country.
No, I think the boogeyman is not communism or any ism. I think it's hatred. And if we can do all the things that the communists do, for instance, we run a dictatorship in Vietnam ourselves and will not allow a free election. If we can do that, then how can we say, that the communists are that terrible, and if the communists take over, thus and so? It couldn't really get any worse than it is, and we're doing everything the communists are doing. And I just don't think that the communists are the big threat. Obviously to the Russians, we are the big threat, and we change enemies periodically. So I don't think that the communism is the terrible thing to fear. I think that if you believe that man can change, then there's hope. If a lot of people you can't change human nature, and there've always been wars, so there'll always be wars, and so forth. And if you think that, then I really think you might as well just give up and drop dead, because we will blow ourselves up. But I think that there's a faintest chance of people cooperating with each other if you can put aside things like hating this country or hating that country or hating this person. Only if there is a real brotherhood of all people, in the whole world, I think, is there any possibility of us surviving.
Since 1963, Ms. Baez has refused to pay 60% of her income tax to protest the use of federal money for weapons of war. Last April, she told the IRS in a letter, quote, "This country has gone mad, but I will not go mad with it. I will not pay for organized murder. I will not pay for the war in Vietnam," unquote. In response, the federal government has placed liens on her income and property. In Hot Springs, Virginia yesterday, John Schneider, president of CBS TV, outlined a vision of broadcasting in 1975. A future world of pocket-sized color sets, voice-controlled channels, video shopping, and direct satellite transmission from studio to home. Speaking to the Association of National Advertisers, Schneider predicted that by 1975, every household would have color television, and each set would carry 6 times as many channels. He foresaw a 4th network and perhaps more, although he doubted there would ever be as many as 10. With multiple sets in the home, he said, viewing would be divided among, quote, the teenager, the intellectual, the tired businessman, and the housewife. And you can be sure that broadcasters will be catering more and more to these special interests, unquote. Schneider cited community antenna television, or CATV, as another source of variety, but dismissed pay TV, stating, quote, Our own research, as well as the evidence of past pay-TV enterprises, indicates that people are simply not willing to pay the high subscriber costs required to support such a system. And it seems only logical they will become even more unwilling as free television offers them an ever-expanding range of program choice in the years ahead." Unquote. Schneider closed with a figure likely to please his audience. The average American family, he said, now spends nearly 6 hours per day watching television. Sports, right after this.
The post office is flooded with mail. It now pours in at the rate of over 200 million new letters and packages a day. Just sorting this avalanche of mail takes longer and longer and can slow up mail delivery, your mail. That's why zip code was created. When you add zip code to the address, postal workers can sort the mail far more quickly and efficiently. And the post office can use its new electronic machines that read zip numbers and sort mail with space-age speed. So add zip code to every mailing address. If you don't know the right zip, call your post office or look it up in their zip directory. Include your own zip code in your return address. That makes it easy for others to zip mail to you. Remember, mail moves the country, and zip code moves the mail.
In Las Vegas today, Angelo Dundee, heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali's manager, told reporters the only way his fighter could lose Monday's bout against Floyd Patterson at the Las Vegas Convention Center would be through overconfidence and clowning. Hearing these words, Ali proceeded to brag and clown, performing for reporters a rubber-legged imitation of Patterson. Ali bobbed and weaved with gloves at his temples, and then let sparring partner Cody Jones knock him down with playful soft punches. The champion then declared, quote, "No one man can beat me. The commission should let me fight 3 guys in one night. That would make it fair. Give me 10 minutes rest between fights. I'm tired of this heavyweight mess. You know, I hit Liston so fast, it took them 3 days to see the punch. They had to go to the laboratory." Unquote. Later, a Swedish reporter asked Ali if Patterson was the faster fighter.
No, if Floyd Patterson dreamed it, he would apologize. He's not half as fast as I am. He don't have a chance. He would have a better chance being caught in the middle of a gun battle in Vietnam with a bean shooter than he would fighting me.
Ali was asked to respond to a comment attributed to Patterson in which the former champion said he would give the title back to Americans.
Well, I don't know what he's talking about when he says give the Americans the title back. As far as I'm concerned, the title is already in America. America has the title. I would say I'm a better representative than he. I've been invited all throughout Sweden. I took all of his fans in Sweden. I took all of his fans in Scotland and all of them in London and all over Europe, Asia, Africa, Arabia, Egypt. Everywhere I go. I leave a good impression. I give you newspaper men and you TV men more time and more cooperation than Floyd Patterson. So I would say I'm a better champion for America than he is. And I am the real champion. I go all throughout the streets, everywhere, meeting all people. I would say I'm the real champion. And plus, he fought people who could not fight. And as soon as he met Liston, a good fighter, you notice he lost. But I'm a fighting champion.
He was asked to predict how many rounds the fight with Patterson would go.
Well, I'm not exactly predicting a round in this fight. I want to punish him. I want to give him a good whipping. I might whip him for 15 rounds. We don't know. I might decide to let it go the whole 15. I might get angry. I might see the opportunity to knock him out in 30 seconds of the first round. It's just a matter of how things go from the get-go.
Finally, Ali was asked about a new punch he'd been developing.
Yes, we're developing a new punch now called the linger-on. This is a punch designed to daze the man. Hit him, shake him up. Don't knock him out, just shake him up. And it will enable him to continue fighting until I'm ready to knock him out. It's just designed to daze him. It's a fast right hand. It's called the linger-on punch.
The challenger, a 3-1 underdog, was asked this week if Ali's insults bothered him. Patterson, who refuses to use the name the champion adopted last year, replied, quote, "No, that's part of Mr. Clay's pattern, and I've grown accustomed to it. If he said nothing about me, then perhaps I'd be worried. Sometimes I get the idea Mr. Clay is trying to convince himself more than me." Unquote. Since the Las Vegas Convention Center seats only 8,000, the maximum gross gate would be about $300,000. The big money, the promoters are hoping around $3.6 million, will come from the closed-circuit telecast. Sports Vision has 220 outlets in the US and Canada and will also beam the fight to Europe by means of the Early Bird satellite. And that, for this evening, completes our look at the latest news on this Wednesday, November 17th, 1965. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day tomorrow.
This has been your Evening Report, a roundup of the latest news with Joe Rubenstein.